Carvana and CarMax are not the future, and if you're dealing with a negotiation-free dealership, you are overpaying for your car. Let me explain. First off, if you don't know who I am, my name is Tommy. I've been in the car industry for most of my entire life. I've been in sales, I've been in finance, I've been a manager, I've done everything in between. Now I help people buy cars, but enough about me. Let's talk about negotiation-free dealerships. Now, Carvana and CarMax are definitely the big dogs in this category, but so many dealerships, probably about 20 to 30%, are actually starting to copy this business model, which is a negotiation-free dealership. The price you see online is the price you get. But there's a huge problem with this business model and why more and more dealerships will start doing it, but eventually move away. It's actually the same reason why you're able to negotiate a car deal, which car dealerships in the heart, in the end, are greedy and they want to make a profit. If every dealership in the entire United States teamed together and said we're only going to sell our cars at MSRP, well, guess what? You're going to get every car sold at MSRP, but the problem is when one dealership cracks and says, you know what, we'll sell it for $500 less to get competition, then it's a bidding war. And this is what's going to eventually happen with negotiation-free dealerships. The only reason why this business model is working right now is because of inventory shortages. There's not as much inventory, so there's not as much competition. So these dealerships are able to gain some traction, but in reality, once dealerships get more inventory, greed will stick in and it will go back to the old way. To be clear, I think they have a good business model in mind, but you can get a much better deal if you know how to negotiate and you spend 5 minutes on my TikTok compared to you going through a negotiation-free dealership. You just normally aren't getting the best deal there. And I get not everybody's watched my channel, but I've probably done about 10 videos on these type of dealerships from negotiation-free to Carvana or CarMax. If you scroll through, I can definitely, or people request, I can put links in the comments below on those videos. But when we're talking about this is horrible advice. If you don't believe negotiation-free dealerships are not a good deal, just look at Tesla. Tesla over the last few years has adjusted their prices according to the market. You don't negotiate on a new Tesla, but they have hiked their prices up all the way up to over $35,000 depending on the time of the market, and people paid those prices, and now they are screwed due to the values of these cars. Now I will tell you, the majority, 95% of all people that dealt with added markup, most people weren't paying $35,000 of added markup. You might have paid $4,000 or $5,000. $35,000 is absurd, and every Tesla was marked up to absurd levels because there's negotiation free and they set their own prices, nobody else does. And I understand the appeal. Buying a car sucks. It's long, it's cumbersome, and it's just outright stressful, more stressful than it needs to. Every time I sat in that finance office, I remembered hearing multiple times, buying a car is so horrible. Why does it have to be so stressful? I remember hearing that, and that's why I started my business, to help people negotiate car deals, because it sucks, but the answer isn't negotiation-free dealerships. Negotiations aren't going anywhere. Even if it's out of the car market, there'll be something you need to negotiate on. But I treat the car market very similar that I do the housing market, which housing doesn't have a set price. It is negotiable, it is movable, and again, you have a realtor do that for you, but it's all the same concept. Negotiation hasn't changed for 100 years with the realtor world. It's not gonna change in the car world. And as much as I would like it to be easier to buy a car, dealerships and the business model just doesn't make sense. And I know I'm gonna get in the comment section and people say, well, don't worry, eventually the manufacturers are just gonna sell to the consumer. It's gonna be nice, it's gonna be great. Sorry, I don't believe that's in the future. And there's quite a few reasons why, but the main reason is running a dealership is extremely expensive. You have to hire staff, you have to pay rent, you have to have a building, you're going to have to pay for it. The biggest thing is a service department. If you're a manufacturer, you have to have a service department at a certain level. Manufacturers do not want to pay for these expenses. They'd rather wholesale the cars out and then make the dealerships pay for these services. It puts the burden on somebody else and then they can hold somebody accountable. It's similar to like franchising out of McDonald's. There's a reason why McDonald's doesn't own every single one. They franchise them out because it's a more cost-effective model. The auto market's very similar. In the end, this is just my take. You can take it or leave it. I'll tell you right now, when we're talking about non-negotiable dealerships, I negotiate all the time. It's what I do for a living. I work with countless clients, and I'll tell you, over the last 3 months, I have done one deal with a non-negotiable dealership. I'll say I negotiated about $2,500 worth of service for my client. But that being said, I'll tell you that this model just isn't normally where the most competitive deals are. And even if a price says $25,000 at a non-negotiable dealership and $26,000 at a normal dealership, you can probably get that $26,000 below the $25,000 and get a better deal as long as you know how to negotiate. Use all the tips I talk about. It's not that hard to negotiate as long as you're willing to put in some effort. But if you guys want more content like this, like, follow, subscribe for more. Have a great day.